So it's a camera in one eye and a bottle of whiskey in the other.
Hello and welcome everybody to Pod Hard with me, Jonas Högberg.
And Anders Hultqvist.
So we've reached the year of 1927. Maybe not a great year for action movies, but there are a lot of things happening this year. We have the ominous presence of sound. The sound movie is finally upon us, everybody. The Jazz Singer has a premiere 1927 with Al Jolson singing and doo-wopping and doing all sorts of weird stuff. Fun fact, it wasn't actually him singing that people were so enthralled with. It was actually hearing someone speak in a cinema, actually for the first time. So speaking, not singing. And of course, the Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts and Sciences is founded. You know, those swell dudes and dudettes that hand out Oscar statuettes. And Douglas Fairbanks, of course, our longtime hero, is the first president of the Academy and is the guy that awards the producers of Wings, the very first statuette for Best Picture. And that's a movie that we'll be getting back to this episode. But before we get into the movies we're talking about, I just want to make a brief point about the movie houses. Not sure if you know that, Anders, but back in the day, movie houses were sort of a big deal. They built these huge, I mean, they were almost like opera houses back in the day for cinema. So with lots of seats, like 5,000 seats in many of these big, splendorous movie houses. And 1927, the biggest of them all, was built and opened. The Roxy Theater in New York City. They called it the Cathedral of the Motion Picture. And it was this huge, gargantuan building which housed a lot of weird stuff. I mean, they had like 6,000 seats for everybody to come and watch movies, but they also had like an infirmary. They had a hospital with nurses in this cinema house. So if anyone was taken ill, they could be shipped down to the hospital below.
Yeah, you know, some movies contain pretty strong scenes.
But I'm looking at some pictures of this place, and it's pretty spectacular. Unfortunately, it was torn down in 1960.
So the Cathedral of Cinema is no more.
It's a graveyard, not a cathedral.
Cinema is a graveyard.
Cinema is dead. Cinema is a graveyard, yeah. It's a shame. There's a fantastic picture where Gloria Swanson, the great silent movie star, is standing in the ruins of the building. Very fitting end, I guess. She had made Sunset Boulevard, where she was a has-been, and now movie as a whole was a has-been, I guess. There's some poetry there, I guess.
Do I see a teary eye there, Jonas?
Well, I sure would have liked to visit this place. It looks pretty wacky, to say the least.
Jonas is welling up here.
Yeah, man, the Roxy. So anyway, let's leave all that and talk about the things that you guys turn in to hear us talk about.
Yeah, other things turned into ruins.
Oh, you mean action movies?
Hopefully houses in the action movies.
Oh, yeah.
Well, through explosions. But yeah, 1927 is a bit of a ruin, I suppose. I was checking in on Larry Semen again.
Oh, yeah.
That guy's, he's not so good anymore.
Wow, that was a crass statement.
Yeah, he had a brief turn there. I mean, I checked on Oh What a Man, where he once again gets in a motorcycle with a sidecar to give chase. I guess this time the girl, Gertrude Astor, is driving, so there's something. Once again, they are picking up people in the sidecar in high speed before smashed by a train. So I guess Larry Simon is copying himself now.
Hasn't he done that for quite some movies already?
Yeah. I mean, and I'm all for doing stuff again and again if they're awesome, but I sense a bit of fatigue here. He started with copying Buster Keaton and Harold Lloyd, and now he's copying himself, copying them. Which he has already done as well, but it's starting to feel a bit strained.
This film you're talking about was probably one of his last movies. He died in 1928, so yeah. But let's not end on a sad note here, Anders.
And then I've tried to locate, because Japan is still churning out some stuff, and I was looking for Shuichi's travel diary, Chui Tabi Nikki, directed by Daisuke Ito, who did Shokon, I don't know how do you pronounce that, the movie we watched last time. But there seems to be only fragments survived of this trilogy of films. I haven't found anything. And there's a lot of Japanese movies that I haven't found, so... And also some Chinese movies are starting to appear, which I haven't found either. Bit of a bummer. And Harold Lloyd did one of these more character-based movies, The Kid Brother, which is cute. Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah, it has a pretty fun sequence at the end where Harold and a villain is chasing each other in a sort of stranded ship on the shore. There's some nice playing around with the stuff there.
These bad guys, when they have this fight and Harold Lloyd is trying to hide, and they always stumble on the furniture he is hiding underneath or inside. It was a pretty funny gag. And then I gotta say, it's more of on the cute side and not action related, but that crane shot early when he climbs a tree and the camera follows and he wants to see the girl for a longer time when she goes further and further into the image.
Well, he actually constructed a special elevator for that scene where they positioned the camera. He climbs the tree and the camera with the elevator is, well, I guess they're cranking it up there together with him to allow for that special rising move. So this was before crane shots. No crane, but an elevator. So that's an elevator shot, not a crane shot.
Yeah, very cute and considered.
Considered, okay. Well, I did find where he fools his brothers into beating up their father. I thought that was a pretty good rumble as well. Where they really throw their punches like madmen in these movies.
There's really good fights in Harold Lloyd movies, I think.
In this movie, this is the first movie I've seen, I guess, with Harold Lloyd, where he isn't up to par to fight.
No, yeah, he got pummeled.
I mean, he is really a weakling in this movie, and he can't take a punch, and he can't deliver a punch. So that's why he runs around in his big set piece at the end there.
I like the end fight where when he walks away with Jubina Ralston, and his neighbor shows up. They have a food. What do you say? They don't like each other. And he starts to fight him, and the dust is covering the whole screen.
Yeah, they kick up a sandstorm.
Yeah, they kick up a sandstorm. And when the dust settles, he is back with Jubina, further back in the image, and his neighbor is lying knocked out on the ground.
This is actually Harold Lloyd's own favorite movie of the ones he made. And yeah, I guess, well, it's fine, Harold. You're wrong, but we love you anyway, man. The Kid Brother isn't our main movie for 1927. That is, of course, the Grand Airliner. I almost said. The Grand Airliner. No, it's the great airplane movie. Airplane? No, it's called Wings, and it's a spectacular movie about the First World War.
It's one of these big, sweeping historical dramas. It's very... what do you say? Yeah, what do you say? What do you say?
Well, you can say so many things, Anders. It's very hard for me to to figure out.
This movie must, I don't know, it's there's a degree of polish to it in this regard, this sweeping historical epic. I mean, it's basically about two guys who are going to be pilots in First World War, who's in love with the same woman and stuff like that.
And stuff like that. Okay, great. That's a nice way to summarize, I guess.
Yeah, we get a comic relief character.
You totally left out the star of the movie, Clara Bow, there.
Yeah, because it's an odd character.
It certainly is.
She's kind of shoehorned in, I would say, but she's very good at that.
Yeah, she said this herself, actually, that she had not really that much to give to the movie. She said it was essentially a guy's movie, and she shouldn't have been in it, she thought afterwards. But
it's a classic two guys in love with the same woman, but then there's another woman.
And then the guys fall in love with each other.
and then the guys fall in love with each other, but then one of the guys has to settle for this other girl who happens to be in love with him.
Man, this is confusing, man. So yeah, there's a lot of love going on here.
I'm not that well versed in the historical epic formula, but if it was already pursued in earlier movies, I guess they refined it here, or else it just established the formula more or less here. But you recognize this structure like from every historical epic that follows, I would say.
Well, there's more drama in this movie than we're used to seeing these crazy screwball comedy action flicks we've seen from the 10s and the 20s. We haven't seen any drama movies really, and this is more of a drama movie with spectacular action scenes.
I mean, I suppose it's like the drama genre caught up with us. We haven't been checking out what they have been up to. We've been more or less thinking there's not much action there. So here one drops right in our laps, and I was a bit surprised by how well-oiled this narrative machinery is at this point.
Well, so Clara Bow, she plays this manic pixie dream girl, I would say, Mary, and she is very intent on marrying this guy Jack, played by Buddy Rogers, I think. Jack has definitely no eyes for Mary whatsoever, and she even helps him build a car in the beginning of the movie.
I mean, he's so oblivious. He's like...
What girl would help a guy build a car and
fuck it,
deliver these eyebrows?
Yeah, she's emoting a lot, which is fantastic in a later scene. I hope I remember to get back to that one.
Who knows, man?
But it's pretty obvious from the get-go here that you could do a pretty good drinking game based on this Jack character and his G.
Gosh, Willie!
This guy is a boob.
Yeah, I would say so as well.
So every time he says G, I think you should down a gin. And you won't make it through 20 minutes of this one.
And I mean, not all of the G's are spelled out in intertitles. You can see the G's without them spelling them out. Oh, there's a G. Oh, there's another G. Oh, yeah.
Jeez, man.
Jack isn't in love with Mary. He's in love with Jobina Ralston.
Yeah, I didn't know she was in this, so I was a bit surprised.
Yeah.
Jobina Ralston is one of few people I recognize from the silent era now.
Yeah, she did 6 movies with Harold Lloyd. She was quite popular. I think she's really good at playing these cute girls, and here she's not so cute, much as she's more posh and a bit aloof.
But she has a very small part as well.
So she's essentially just a foil for these 2 guys.
Yeah, Jack's in love with her, but she's in love with David, but she doesn't want to let Jack G. Powell down, because, I mean, he's like a puppy.
Yeah.
I guess she doesn't want to make him cry.
I'm guessing she didn't want him to, like, kill himself. I'm guessing people in the 20s were easily offended when other people wouldn't respond to their suiting.
So best hope is he dies in war.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
But David, this other guy, I never understood how. No, the other guy, David Rich Armstrong. We can call him G and Rich.
G and Rich, okay.
No, I never understood how they were best pals. Did they become that in the during pilot training, or were they already this tight?
I think they might have been like schoolmates or something, gone to the same school and not been pals, and then they became pals when they were in the same regiment. But I don't know.
David, he's not in the movie that much as a character. I mean, he just shows up with this brooding serial killer look, gazing in front of himself. Or did you feel the character was structured in any other way?
Well, certainly, madam, sir. I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
Oh, sorry. You're a big David Armstrong fan.
Well,
I suppose.
Well, I have to say I love his hairstyle. It's Crispin Glover, man. It's Crispin Glover. He looks exactly like Crispin Glover in.
Yeah, but he looks exactly like Crispin Glover.
Yeah, but the hair is spot on, man.
Yeah, but it just adds to the serial killer vibe. I mean, I was thinking about Crispin Glover's dad as well in Diamonds Are Forever.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he is a serial killer.
Big shout out to Crispin Glover's dad for that part.
Yeah, amazing. So I kind of, what do you say? I don't know what I'm saying.
So anyway, I thought it was there's some really nice.
Gloverisms.
There's some really nice images early on. They put the camera on a swing.
Yeah, talk about it.
It gives this scene a very hypnotic character. It's David and it's Jobina Ralston. I'm not sure what her character's name is. It's the rich woman character that Jobina Ralston plays anyway. So she and David is on a swing and going back and forth and camera follows them along. And then you see in the background Jack coming in with his car that Mary helped him with earlier and totally got shunned for. Very bad behavior by G. Jack. He stops his car a couple of meters away and then runs into in the middle of the frame where the swing is going, and he stops the swing and sort of like kidnaps Jobina. What a fantastic shot. And I mean, that's not the only shot that we were talking about that is like surreal, crazy good.
He drags her away to try out his racing car. Mary sees them.
And I mean, she's like, well, this is okay, I guess.
She wanted to be the first one to ride the jack, the car.
The Jack? Oh my god, what are you insinuating, man? Are you insinuating?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
They're enlisted.
And Mary's allowed to borrow the racing car while he's off to war.
She better make sure that she doesn't mess it up in some way. Because then Jack will be sorely pissed with her.
He won't be G no more.
No.
So there's a lot of teary-eyed farewells. I suppose not one dry eye after these sequences. Little teddy bears and stuff.
Yeah. David has a teddy bear that has been given from his mom a long time ago. And now he brings it along for luck.
Yeah, so they're gonna train to be aviators. So the comic relief character appears, Shrimp.
Yeah, the Dutchman.
So he gets knocked down and there was a sound effect to the smack.
Yeah, they this is maybe not the first, but one of the first movies that really took sound effects to the next level, I think.
Yeah, there will be lots of them.
During certain showings of Wings in 1927, they had like people doing sound effects at the cinema theater. I don't think they were pre-recorded because Wings wasn't using the sound
Stuff.
technology, but they definitely wanted to capitalize on sound because it was a big thing in 1927 with the jazz singers. So sound effects were employed in the theaters by certain people who, I guess, were doing Foley things as behind the screen or something. Paramount did a brilliant remaster of this movie in the early 2000s, where they simply put on the sound effects. So, yeah, pretty good stuff, I would say.
So Shrimp gets a bit harassed and knocked down, as I was saying, because they think he's a German who want to fight on the American side.
He has a tattoo of the American flag on his bicep.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
And his bicep isn't very... well,
it's floppy.
It's very floppy. And it's dancing around almost.
Yeah, he has this trembling flag tattoo, so they accept him as a joke. So there's some boxing, and I mean Jack and what's his face, Money Rich, David. Jack and David, they really duke it out.
Yeah, they have a boxing match. I guess it's only meant to be a training match, but they really go to town on each other. It's like Harold Lloyd stuff, man.
Yeah, they just pummel each other. But maybe this is where they get really tight, because then they hug up and, yeah, David, you really can bleed from your face.
Yeah, Jack really beats the shit out of poor David.
Jack is a monster.
And when he sees that he is like almost crying and bleeding and stuff like that, he's like, oh, well, now we're best pals, man.
Gee.
Very strange ending to that scene.
So meanwhile, Mary joins the Women's Motor Corps and gonna drive, what's it called? Like an ambulance truck?
Yeah, I'm guessing it's like a field ambulance or something like that, employed at the battle scenes. So both Mary and Jack and David are in Europe. I think this is the character played by Gary Cooper, by the way. One of the great American actors. This was one of his earliest parts. It's the guy that gets killed in the beginning that says, here's a candy bar, guys. I'm going up there. And then it's like shot down immediately.
There's this shadow of a plane hovering above ground, intercut throughout the sequence. Ominous, threatening, and then there's a crash.
The editing for the crash was great as well, with the impact with the planes and the shadows playing with masterfully, I would say. Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, there's some great stuff in this one.
Absolutely. Because this dude died, both Jack and David gets thrown into the thick of it. I don't really know.
Yeah, and it's so great because there's a guy coming in and says they're going up in the air, dudes, and Jack is going on dawn patrol. Finally, so happy. Gee.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I suppose the movie is supposed to show this naive boy being destroyed by war, I suppose. But
you didn't catch up on that, did you?
no.
You only caught the G's and the Jiminy Cricket.
Rushing ahead before we go back to what happens now.
Okay.
I mean, 50 minutes in, G becomes okay. Jack starts to say okay, and I was thinking maybe this is the battle-hardened Jack revealing his new cynical side. It's no more G's, it's okay. But I think G comes back later, and he's still all smiles. So there's only through text the movie says the hollowed out shells of men destroyed in war, and then we cut to all smiley Jack. Gee, more champagne, please.
Well, to his credit, he is pretty bummed out at the ending of the movie, though. You have to give him that.
So back to 40 minutes in, I
Okay.
think. We take to the sky.
So I'm hoping everybody keeps notes here. Oh, 40 minutes in. Okay. They gotta get out and do a flock of figure eights before Chow.
Yeah, man.
That was an intertitle.
I mean, it's been pretty breezy 40 minutes, and now we're into the thick of it.
Now comes a great big battle scene.
Yeah, then they are immediately up against German ace Count von Kellerman's flying circus.
Yeah, flying circus. Great stuff, man. Where's Monty Python? Before the battle scene commences, there was a nice scene where they had like marching on the lower screen on a big meadow, and the sky was superimposed with different fighting scenes. So the men were marching along, and then there were different battle scenes being shown on the sky. I thought that was really nice as well.
Yeah, it's like in. Do you remember the Amiga game Cannon Fodder?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with a long line of next in line for becoming gravestones.
But that's not the case for Jack and David, at least. They turn out to be great in the air.
Yeah, they are amazing. Top Gun, get out of here. Gee.
There's a lot of, extremely impressive shots in the air. And I read a bit about the movie.
I was just gonna ask you, how did they do some of this shit? I mean, so seemingly they have cameras everywhere.
They have cameras everywhere. Even, the actors, they are really driving the planes. It's them up in the air. Maybe not doing all the crazy stuff when you take big wide shots with the camera, but when you do these close-ups, it's not that they have them on the ground and they have like superimposed the background. It's really shots of them flying in the air.
So that's why they want to cut so often to these full frontal close-ups.
Yeah. because the real shots, man, the real shots, and they're being pretty scared.
Man, that's insane.
The director, William Wellman, he was actually in the First War. And when he got out of the First World War, he met Douglas Fairbanks. And Douglas Fairbanks thought, you are a nice guy, you should become an actor. And so he helped William Wellman become an actor in like 1919 or something like that. But William Wellman thought acting was for pussies and wanted to direct. And so he became a director in the early 20s. And he's very much this John Ford character, you know. He's very hard on his actors. And evidently, you can really see that in this movie.
So it's a camera in one eye and a bottle of whiskey in the other.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah,
but
John Huston
yeah.
style. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say that Fairbanks just told him, "Oh, you're gonna do a movie about people in airplanes. Just force them all up there.
Yeah.
See what happens."
So yeah, they did a lot of weird shit, and he essentially had he got an entire like squadron of the Air Force to accommodate his every wishes. I mean, there was some crazy, and he shot for like 9 months or something, and the studio was like pissed off, extremely pissed off, and they almost kicked him out of the director's seat. It was only because they saw, oh well, this is pretty good stuff, let's keep it up. But they was so pissed with him that he wasn't allowed to go to the Academy Awards to accept the Oscar for the movie.
But basically, he probably is one of those assholes that people like to romanticize.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But anyway, he does get some very, very nice shots here.
He does.
And there's a nice effect also where they're hit and you get these fire effects, these flames that are yellow. They're like painted on.
When planes are falling down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Maybe they overused it a bit because they really liked this effect, but it looks great.
It looks great, yeah.
And I really liked this transition from we see gunshots going into the metal of a plane, and then the image transitions to inside the plane where we see the gasoline tube being hit.
Yeah, I mean the editing is pretty spot on most of the time, I think. He maybe draws out, he maybe extends these scenes in the air a bit too long for my taste.
There are 3 big set pieces in the air, and they are quite similar. So the first one here, I think, is awesome. But it starts to drag at the second and the third one, I would say, too. And also, they have a problem with... I think they don't trust we see what's happening, because there's a lot of text throughout the battles that are clearly explaining throughout what is happening.
Well, yeah. Well, that's nice, I guess.
Yeah, because some of the wide shots where you can't possibly know what plane is which are so spectacular up in the clouds. There's these clouds everywhere, big clouds and small planes.
The clouds, oh.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's really great.
And I mean, planes doing barrel rolls, attacking each other, going like a couple of meters above each other. It's bonkers stuff.
Isn't Tom Cruise on about now that they are doing something new with Top Gun that no one has done before, with blah 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 actors in real planes and stuff? And Wings did it in 1927.
And the stuff, the shots of the actors in the cockpit. It gets a bit bogged down when you reuse them, but oh man, they're so great. Every single shot is fantastic in the air. I can't emphasize that enough. It's really great. And I mean the crashes are way crazy as well. There's a plane crash landing upside down with it. I'm hoping it's a stunt doll that bounces out. It sort of looked like a real person. I mean, that was crazy as well. What's happening? Yeah, I read that one of the stunt guys broke his neck doing a crash landing. So maybe that was for real.
Jack, sometimes John, he crashes right in the battlefield. They call him Jack. His real name is John. I've always had trouble with this. They always call a Robert or something Bob and stuff. People have several names stateside.
Why do you call a person called John Jack? I mean, there are 4 letters, both these. I don't get it. Why is Jack more loose than John?
So, any American listeners, maybe reach out, explain this use of names.
Yeah, Please enlighten us about this very, very weird habit of calling John people Jack. That's very weird, man.
Hey, Jonas, don't be so judgmental.
So anyway, they of course win the battle. They chase off the Germans, and we...
Oh, you're at the end now.
Oh, no, it's this first battle, of course.
Okay. Yeah. I thought, so they won the war. The end.
Well, spoiler alert, they do win the war, but we do get another scene up in the air with a big bomber.
Man, it's my favorite scene.
Yeah, that's a very, very nice scene. And here we have Mary doing stuff on the ground as well.
Yeah, this is where I was coming to. She rides into town and she's so happy. It looks like she thinks, oh, everyone is playing hide and seek with me.
Oh yeah, when she enters the town, because everybody has hid themselves from the big bomber that is coming.
Yeah. So great acting here from Clara Bow. She's so happy. Oh, everybody's playing hide and seek in the middle of war. I'm gonna go look for them, and then bombs start falling. And I mean, whoa! How did they do this? They just drop bombs on a city.
I guess they dropped bombs on this village. I'm guessing that's what happened.
I mean, they blow up a village.
Yeah.
And this doesn't look like model work either. It looks like real houses. Doesn't even look like, what they... just fake houses.
Papier-mâché houses.
Yeah.
Like Star Trek houses.
It doesn't look like Star Trek houses. No.
Yeah, it looks like real houses.
And there's this shot from above, from within the bomb hatch, where you can follow the bombs down to the ground and explode in one take.
How the F do they do that? Do they actually drop bombs? Do the bombs go off? It's so many questions about this movie. Somebody should go like shot for shot and explain all of the shots, what is actually happening, how they did that, because some of the stuff is really mind-boggling.
Yeah, so blowing up the village is my favorite scene in this movie. It's just these are quality explosions.
Yeah, and I mean we get a lot of sound effects in the air as well. Planes soaring, plummeting, bullets being shot. Explosions. It's sound effects bonanza, man.
And I gotta underline that they have camera positions everywhere. It's above, below, front, behind, inside, outside, upside, downside.
I read that they waited 18 days for ideal weather to shoot scenes in.
These clouds.
For one, yeah, exactly. They needed a background for the planes to have behind, so that the planes wouldn't, so that you get the sense of placement and a sense of 3D sense, I guess.
And just big ass grandeur. It's so huge.
Spectacular stuff. And of course, they shoot down... Well, of course, Jack, the G-Jack guy, saves the day. He shoots down the bomber.
Did you notice they drive the bomber with a big truck wheel?
Yeah, they did.
Look, it must be weird driving an airplane with a wheel.
Oh, yeah. So, they celebrate. They go to Paris, and they celebrate like madmen. And we get a very weird sequence where Mary tries to... She finds out that Jack's in town, and she also finds out that everyone who has shore leave, or what you call it, they're to go back to the war. And so she gets worried for Jack and needs to find him, but he is enthralled by bubble sanders. What's going on?
This scene is odd.
Very odd.
They fell in love with this bubble effect, obviously.
I mean, the bubble effect won't stop.
Jack is... I mean, how much champagne has he inhaled? I don't know. He's so weird. He can't see anymore.
Actually, I have another bit of trivia for this scene. Buddy Rogers, the actor, like 22 years old here, he hadn't drinked. He hadn't
gotten plastered.
He hadn't gotten plastered ever before. But William Wellman thought, now's the time, get going. And so he is genuinely crazy drunk here.
Crazy drunk. Okay.
Method acting.
So the bubbles aren't an effect.
Yeah, the bubbles is, well, I don't know.
I mean, he hallucinates bubbles everywhere.
It's like painted bubbles on the screen.
And he's infatuated by these bubbles and just wants more. I think he says, no more war, just bubbles. This lady he has hooked up with, he's gonna leave the place with her, and Mary has talked to a weird toilet lady about getting nicely dressed in a dancer's dress to win him over. And then Jack just shakes these women violently to see who of them release most bubbles.
Yep, pretty much, yeah.
At the club, there's a great butt shot at the beginning, because there's two butts moving away from the camera. And then one is revealed to be a guy in a kilt. I really liked this scene.
Let's just leave this scene. It's man, it drags on for too long, like most scenes in this movie. They should have cut the movie down to 1.5 hours or something.
I mean, I think it's great up until the intermission almost. And then the scenes right after the intermission just felt like they really didn't work, because it wants to be this at times heavier representation and show the World War I, and I just don't feel it. But I like the joyous, fast-moving action adventure about these pilots.
Well, I do think they get quite cute towards the end, towards each other. It's a real bromance going on here. They really feel for each other. David is shot down, and Jack believes David to be dead, but David has managed to escape his plane and the Germans, and is running around behind enemy lines. And so when the final battle ensues, we cut between Jack doing his heroic, crazy, I'm gonna slaughter all Germans thing, and David stealing a German plane behind enemy lines.
Oh.
And here you get some serious anticipation. Okay, I see where this is going. And yep, that's where we're going. I really thought that this movie was very cute earlier, and I thought they wouldn't go that dark. But, well, that's what happens. Jack shoots down David, and David crashes like crazy against a house.
It's really funny that he almost crashes into a woman and a child standing by Jesus on a cross. We're going pretty heavy here. The mission they are on before David crashes, where they are going around blowing up these balloons. I love the shot of two Germans relaxing, eating sausage and grabbing a couple of brewskis in their hot air balloon when Jack and David just show up and explode them. And the mass battle scenes are pretty spectacular as well. We follow the army in the trenches and a bunch of tanks.
And so we get our final bromance chapter between Jack and David. Jack finally... he lands his plane by the house. I'm guessing he wants to gloat in the dead German's face or something. So when he finds out, oh my god, I've shot down David, he becomes, of course, all heartbroken. And they have a very heartfelt goodbye there on in this house. David's life is ebbing out of him, and Jack kisses him almost on the mouth. It's very, very, very much bromance, almost going all the way to gaymance.
I love the moment when he finally dies. It crosscuts exactly when he dies to a propeller stopping on a plane. Then it cuts back to them for a while. I thought it should have just left there. It was actually kind of beautiful editing. I mean, it's a bit obvious image-wise, but it worked. And the placement is perfect of the edit.
Great stuff, great stuff. And so we get an epilogue scene with Jack home at the States. He, of course, realizes that it's Mary that he should woo. And he tells David's parents, oh, I happened to shut down your son. So sorry about that. And he delivers the teddy bear to them. So it's a lot of emotions in the end. And Mr. G. Jack is very much a changed man. So yeah, that's Wings for you, man. Oh, and we should say at least one word about the spectacular tracing shot with the moving camera through the famous shot of Wings. We haven't talked about that crazily enough. With the camera moving through cafe tables in Paris, essentially ending on Jack drinking champagne, I'm guessing, where they pulled away the tables as the camera got closer to them. The point of view sort of escapes the tables, and that's where people rushed forward and pull apart the table in two parts. And I mean, that shot is one of the silent movie's most famous, and William Wellman, he gets his shots, man. Maybe we'll be returning to William Wellman in the 30s, because he is the director behind The Public Enemy, the first gangster movie of the 30s. Next time it's 1928. I'm guessing it's gonna be a great Buster Keaton year. Crickets.
Crickets playing.
What the hell, man? You can't do this to me. Grrr.
Wrap it up.
Au revoir. We will always have Paris.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm hitting this stop button now.
Okay, so signing out, everybody. Take care of each other out there.